He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players that ever laced them up. He is a defensive stopper, the ultimate two-way player that could get you on both ends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about a multiple-time All-Star, a multiple-time defensive player of the year. Gary Payton, the glove, nicknamed the glove, joining us here. GP, man, you're on with Kyle in the High Flyer. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you guys?
Good, man. Hey, Gary, they got me fired up right here, man. I'm going to start right off with what our big topic of the day was. Sacramento played the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday. GP2 is playing. Hopefully he's feeling better. I'll ask you about him coming up in a minute. They came back from 24 down, GP. They laid it on the line. Emotional game, in-season tournament. You got to win to advance. And then they got to face a well-rested Clippers team, as Jay Johnson dropped some Cypress Hill for us right there. A well-rested Clippers team with 4 Hall of Famers. To me, that was a schedule loss. To me, I expected the Kings to lose. I said, I'm going to give them a pass, Gary Payton. What say you? How do you feel about that?
I don't give nobody a pass. You got to come in and play. I don't care. And then let me go back to you on these Hall of Famers. They future Hall of Famers. They ain't no Hall of Famers yet. You know what I'm saying? They future Hall of Famers. So let's put that to rest already. All right. But I'm just saying, look here. Sacramento did a great job of coming back and beating the Warriors, and then to be the number 2 seed in the end season tournament next week in Vegas. But I'm just saying, this is basketball. You know what I'm saying? And if Henry will let you know, we used to play 4 games in 5 nights and then try to get it in and win games. You got to win games. Don't give nobody no passes. If they got to come and go play, put it all out there. That's why you got 14, 15 men on a basketball court. On a roster, everybody should play. You know what I'm saying? Get the game where you get yourself ready for the end of the year. So them guys who are already been playing and had a lot of minutes, let's try somebody on the bench to see that if we can get a reliable player that we can play with and do things like that. So I'm not into that give pass stuff or that what you call that? What y'all call that? Rest, whatever, what they call
load management and rest and all that.
Load management, I ain't into all that, man. Whatever, you get paid to play basketball. They play it. You know what I'm saying? Don't give nobody no excuses. And I think that Sacramento has a good basketball team where they don't have to get no excuses. They can go out there and play every night and get wins.
Now, G, you know where to love at, brother. I ain't even got to tell you that. But I'm going to come at you like this. We've been talking about this back-to-back thing. It seems like now all of a sudden people are crying. Well, the NBA shouldn't have back-to-backs. We've had back-to-backs forever. When you came into the league, we had back-to-backs. When I came into the league, we had back-to-backs. And hey, you played against some brothers where you never did get a night off. Tell me what you think about these dudes crying about, oh, well, we can't play in back-to-backs.
Well, that's crazy, Henry. Like I just said, man, we played 4 games in 5 nights where we went back-to-back at a rest and then went back-to-back. You know what I'm saying? So go with all that, man. I don't care nothing about that. First of all, they don't even practice anymore. You know what I'm saying? You only can be on the floor about, an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and then you're done. You're not doing anything. You're only playing a basketball game for 2 hours. Man, suck that mess up, man. It's just like when I be seeing about all these injuries, man. I used to play through injuries no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? They can have their era. This is their era. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what they want to do. It's basketball, man. Suck it up, man. You're getting paid too much money to be talking and crying about anything. Just play the game, man. That's what I say. I hate when people are always talking about, oh, we shouldn't have back-to-backs. Oh, we shouldn't do this. Oh, we shouldn't do that. You sure ain't talking about every 1st and the 15th when you getting them big checks. So start saying that. Start saying, oh, man, I shouldn't get my check. Oh, man, I shouldn't do that. I guarantee you they ain't doing that.
Now, G,
so, man, go with all that, man.
Now, G, let me ask you this. Now, we're talking about the Sacramento Kings, and I was telling KD about, in order for this team to make it to that next level, the Kings are a good team. Mike Brown wants them to be a great team. And I'm telling KD, the road to being great, the road to being a champion is bumpy, bro. It's not easy. So, I told him they went down 24 against Golden State. they went down 24 against the Clippers. And both of those was in the first half. I told him, I said, that's unacceptable basketball when you're trying to be great. You were on a great basketball team. Explain that to him.
Well, you know what, Henry, what you have to do is everybody got to suck it up. You can't get down 24 points and just try to build yourself way and get back into games. That's not going to happen. That's when I know that other players have to step up, like the Foxes, the Monks, the Sabonises. You got to go in there and talk to your teammates and say, look here, man, we got to buckle this down. It's just got to be buckled down. We got to go out here and play hard. And I think the mindset of players sometimes is be like, well, I'm tired. I got to do this, man. And then next thing you know, teams come in here and you get down 24. You cannot be a championship team trying to come back from that type of deficit every night. It's not going to work. It's going to knock you down. It's going to drain you out, and you're not going to be able to do that all the time. So I think when they are getting that mentality, but they are young right now. They're a nice young team, and they're going to get better and better, and they're going to start understanding how valuable that is to knock people out when they come to your arena. So people can't come into my arena and say that they can beat us. They should be scared to go in there in people's arena and say, man, we don't have a tough one. And they should be out there every night. And until they find that out and realize that out, they will just be a good team. When they start being a great team, when they can go back-to-backs and start blowing people out and making people understand the fear to come into Sacramento and use them fans as their sixth man, then they'll become a great team.
On with the Hall of Famer, Gary Payton, here on The Drive, guys. GP, we've been talking, just about the makeup of this Kings team. They got a lot of nice guys on this team. But we saw a team in Golden State with Draymond, and we know what happened to him with the suspension and everything. Do you also got to have not only nice guys, but you got to have a couple jerks on your team too? And does it, especially in today's day and age, in today's game, do you need that kind of player on your team? For instance, real quick, GP, we look back at Charles Oakley, Tony Allen, even, guys that, sort of the enforcers,
right,
that protect the superstars. Do you need those kind of guys nowadays?
I think so. I think you need that type of basketball player on any basketball team. I had a guy on my team named Frank Bukowski.
Yeah.
Where I knew that whenever we got into it or somebody hit me, he would always come to me and say, man, love, don't worry about that. I got that. So when you have that type of guy on your team to enforce and always protect somebody, that is a good thing, because people are going to come in here and say, oh, man, we ain't going to try nothing crazy, or we ain't going to try nothing silly on a superstar. And yes, you do have to have one of them guys, because he's going to be a veteran. He's going to be a guy who's going to teach the other people how to play the game, and then don't give them no fear when they go out there in basketball if somebody going to hit them, and then teach them the same thing. Teach them to don't back down. Teach them to hit them. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you need one of them guys to take a tough foul or that, when you know that your valuable superstar is over there getting killed, get him off of him. Hey. Make sure he know that when he come in there, get him off of him. Because, hey, bring him my way. I get him off of you. And then we have got players that will be at superstars like that. And, of course, and definitely you need a player like that on every basketball team.
Tell me this. Who was that player when you had at Potrero Hill when they locked the doors and stepped up and said, don't worry about it, this is how we going to get down?
Well, you was there too, Henry. But we had that dude. We had that dude up in the stands called Pops. We had Pops in the stands, and then we had, you was always my OG. So you know what? You always was like, man, look here, man, we gonna go at these dudes, man. But we was always like that. That's how we grew up, though, Henry.
For sure.
In Oakland. So we grew up like that, man, when we didn't take no mess. And we always protected each other, because I knew if somebody hit you, I'm gonna go and knock him down too, and get at him like that. So that's how we was.
NBA Hall of Famer, 9-time All-Star, NBA 75th anniversary team member, all rookie, 9 times all defensive. I could go on and on. Gary Payton joining the Drive Guys. GP, when you look at the Western Conference, you got the Warriors, obviously, Phoenix. Like, how do you see Sacramento fitting in with the Western Conference and some of these elite teams out there?
Well, you seen last year how they played, and they had home court advantage on Golden State, and they went in a tough 7-game series and lost at home and at home on Game 7. Sacramento has to understand that they got great teams here, but it has to start in the beginning of the year. They have to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? We're young, but we're going to be every night that you come play us, we're going to be at your helmet. And that's what it's got to be like. And I think this team got it because they got a leader in Brown who is giving it to them. And he's showing them. You got the young kid, Fox, that's playing very, very well. You know what I'm saying? You got a leader. You got that player. You know, the young player, Murray. These guys are good. Monk is coming off the bench doing what he does. So they got the ingredients, but I just think they need to get over that hump because they got to stop selling people, we're coming. Now we're supposed to be here. We're here now. And I think that they can fit in that 5-6 round seed, even could get to a 4. You know, it depends on what's going on because you got the Clippers who is going to be there with all them great players they got. You got Phoenix who's going to be there. You got Denver, who I think is the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a veteran team in Golden State. I don't know how Golden State is going to do it because they're not gelling right now. They need another scorer, a second scorer right now, and people know that. And I think that they got to let it happen too. You know, you got a lot of good young teams in here that's going to be okay. But like the Lakers are going to be right there. So you got 4 or 5 teams right there, and Sacramento is right there. They're sticking right there. And I think that they can surpass some of these teams if they go out and make statements right now and just play and then get a good chemistry with each other by the time playoff come, where they have fear in some of these teams. Because some of these teams don't have fear in them yet, and because they're young. Because they say, okay, if we get them in a 7-game series, we can beat them in 7 games because we'll tire them out, which happened last year. But Sacramento has to get over that hump and say, yo, we got to start winning these tough games, and we got to start being that team. And I think once they do that, a lot of teams are going to fear them, and then they're going to be in that 1 to 3 tier, and then it's going to be very scary.
You know, G, I want to take you back a little bit, brother. I always talk about, and I rant and rave in Sacramento about how we played basketball back in the day and the teams that we played on. But I want you to tell some of the fans here in Sacramento about our little team we had when it was me, you, Jason Kidd, Brian Shaw, Antonio Davis, and Greg Foster, how we used to get down in the back.
Henry, boy, we got some Oakland boys, man. You understand me, man? When we used to go to Betrayal here in San Francisco, man, and run the summer league, man, it was nobody that could deal with us. We was probably one of the best 5-6 guys that could come out of the Oakland and get it in. Get it in just tough, man. And we was gritty. We had 5 dudes that act the same way. We had 5 dudes that would go in war with each other. We knew we had each other back. And we'll just play basketball and be the ones we be. We just be open dudes. And that's just the way we are. And it's where we grew up. And when we came there, everybody wanted to beat us, but it was very hard to beat us because if you stop one, the other one was going to get down on you. And if you get down on it, it's the other one to get down on you. But if you got 6 killers coming at you, it's hard to beat them.
And then again, too, people always, like I said, because I always talk about you, and people ask me like, you know what, man? Did Gary talk all that trash back when he was younger? I said, yeah. They say, well, why he always talk out the side of his mouth? I say, man, ain't nothing wrong with Gary. I say, when you see Gary talking out the side of his mouth, that's who he talking to the other dude on the other team. I say, because 9 times out of 10, he was telling me, hey, H, go at him, dog. I'm going to send him your way. You going to come get me. I'm like, man, I say GP was always our vocal leader. I say, but Brian Shaw led the squad.
Yeah, B. Shaw was our guy, though, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know me, I'm just gonna talk trash, and you know I'm telling you to do something, Henry. I'm gonna send him your way. You do this, and I got him. That's all it was, man. And that's why I was always talking, mumbling stuff, because I'm trying to tell him, you go at his helmet that way, and I'm gonna get him this way, and that's how it was.
Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer, joining us here on Sactown Sports 1140 The Drive, guys. GP, you are a member of one of my favorite teams, man. Those Sonics teams back in the mid-'90s, early '90s. Tell me about just the chemistry you guys had, especially you and Shawn Kemp, man. I even show my son, he's 14 years old. I still show him some of y'all highlights, man, and just the chemistry between you guys on that team.
Well, when me and Shawn got together, Shawn was drafted the year before me, and then I came in there. I think me and his chemistry started because we got close as soon as we could see each other. We started hanging out. We started doing things. And then when we started playing basketball, Shawn used to always know that I was going to pressure the ball and get him steals. So he knew when I got a steal, he would just sprint. Then he started saying, woo, woo, woo. And then I started seeing that, and then I started throwing the ball up to the sky. And he would start going to get it. So then when I started seeing that, I started saying, I got me somebody here, man. Almost like what HT used to do for us when we was playing and for my father. I used to throw it up there to HT, and he used to go get it and dunk it everywhere. If everybody don't know, HT used to dunk on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Him and Marcus Cotton. So they was two guys that was legit. And then I found one in the pros just like him. And I was just like, we got a chemistry unreal, because everybody be like, man, how did you see him? I just know he's going to be there. It was just an instinct that way that I knew that Shawn was going to be there. Hey, you think Chris Paul and Griffin them started Lob City? It's crazy. That was me and Shawn Kemp, man. Lob City was there in 1990, right, to 1997, 98.
Preach.
So don't get that twisted. He was the first Lob City ever. You know what I'm saying? So don't get that twisted.
Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer, joining us. Obviously, GP2, your son, playing for the Warriors right now. I know he's dealing with the injury. I want to go back to Tuesday's game. Did you watch that game? And what do you make of the Warriors-Kings rivalry right now?
It's getting to me. It's starting to be a good one, because as soon as Mike Brown took that job, man, down there, it was going to be a bit for him being an assistant with Golden State for many years. It was going to be a rival. And I think Brown took that job because he knew what he had. He had a good young team that was really, when you can get a point guard, then come around and get a center, then draft a guy like Murray, and then start having Monk, and then pick Monk off, out of free agency. And you got all of them, then draft a Mitchell guy out of Baylor. Come on, man. You got something going on there. And he's grooming them that way. He was seeing something in Cleveland that when he had in Cleveland that he had there. And now that rivalry has got so big down this interstate that it's crazy. And that's what it is all about, man. It's about a rival. It's just like the 49ers against the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Dallas against Philly. It's a rivalry, man, and we keeping it good. And it's starting to be even more better, because everybody is anticipating that, especially with Sacramento getting that win the other day, coming back from so much down and so much at stake. This is going to be a thing to remember for a long time, and it's going to be a rival for a long, long time.
Gary Payton joining us, the Glove. I can ask you question after question. And so I'm going to keep on going here, Jeep. I know you got things to do, man. And just give me a couple more minutes here. When I look at the NBA, I was talking to Ron Adams, assistant coach with the Warriors. He says the key to winning now is having two-way players. The problem is those don't grow on trees anymore. You don't see that as much anymore. You were one of the best to ever do it in terms of two-way player. What's it take to be a two-way player, and why don't we see more of it nowadays?
Because it takes mentally toughness. Because you got to understand, to be a two-way basketball player, you have to be dedicated on both ends of the floor. You see what I'm saying? So I'll take two guys like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Them two are dedicated to play defense and play on the other end of the floor and be skilled enough to do that. That's what I was. My mentality was, forget offense, because I'm going to get a lot of offense because I got the ball in my hand. Now, how many easy buckets can I get by playing defense? Now, if I rip you 3 or 4 times and get 3 or 4 layups, That's 8, 9, 10 points. That's all my offense I can do. I can get down. But then I'm going to shoot the ball 15 to 16 times. I know at least I'm going to make 8 of them shots. I'm going 50% or 40%. So what I'm saying is now my mentality is like this. Okay, I can take off one quarter and don't even have no offense. Because if I steal the ball, I'm going to at least score 6 points. So now you take 6 points each quarter. You got 24 points. You're good. But then if you go to defense and then go there and get 4 or 5 steals and make things happen and create people to take the ball away from you. My job was to be on that board in the visitors' locker room on the top of it. Then we got to get this guy out of this game. And I had that. They used to tell me, whoever Gary's guarding, put him on the other side because they know I was going to start havoc. But that's got to start with your mental. You got to say, man, forget offense, forget that. I'm going to lock somebody down. If he's scoring 24, my purpose is to get him to score 14. If I can get him to score 14 or even struggle to be 5 for 26 or 27, I've done what I'm supposed to. Now, if I win the game by having 27 and he has 16, I've won. We've already got 11-point advantage with a guy who was always averaging 20-something in the game, and we cut him down. We make it somebody else take that responsibility on the other side of the floor, and I'll take that any day. I'll take that any day to have somebody who has not been in that situation to try to beat us than the person who is the superstar of that team. And I took the joy of taking him out that game. And that's what I used to do every time I went to the basketball floor.
Gary Payton, a Hall of Famer, won a gold medal on that 96 team, I believe it was, GP. You know, there's a lot of talk over the years. Who would have won your 96 squad versus that 92 team?
Ooh, come on, man.
Where you stand on that, GP? Where you stand on that?
Come on, dog.
Well, one, we had 6 players off of the Dream Team 1 on our team.
Okay.
So, you know, that team is great. I'm not going to even talk about it because, you know what? Everybody was a little older. They did a little older. 4 years came by, and then we got a couple of guys. But I still think we added some good ones in Shaq, myself, Grant Hill, Kenny Hardaway, and Mitch Richmond, and Reggie Miller. We added some good ones, too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I can't tell you who would have won, and I don't like to do that because we don't have a time machine to go back and see. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, we had 6 players from the Dream Team 1. It would have been a good matchup, and I think we would have had fun doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think we all would have had fun doing it.
And he would have been in Michael's ear all the way down.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Yeah. And they would have gave me the job to guard Mike, so I would have been having fun, too. So it would have been good.
You know, Gary, I'm going to end it on this, man. Obviously, I'm a big fan of yours. Grew up loving your game. I also love the trash-talking side of it. You're from Oakland. I'm from Philly originally. That's just how we played every day. That was every day for us. Tell me who was the best trash talker to you, though, in the NBA. Take yourself out of it. Who are some of the guys you had memorable trash talk with?
It was 2 of them. I'm on Larry Bird and Reggie Miller. They were the best 2 trash talkers I ever seen in my life. Larry Bird was number 1 because Larry Bird would tell you that he will take you to one spot, shoot it in your face, and if it don't go all net, it don't count, and he'll come back and do it to you again. Then when he do it, he used to be like, I got a present for you, and it'll be a jumper. He would always do that. One time he was playing against Xavier McDaniel in my rookie year. He told Xavier Daniel if he didn't get this many points on him, he would quit basketball. So they were blowing us out. They were blowing us out in the Garden, and Bird was on the bench. He went over to I think it was Phil Ford or Fitz.
Chris
One
Ford?
Of them was
Yeah.
Fitz, yeah, one of them was coaching the team. He told him to sub him back in the game because he hadn't gave Xavier McDaniel the points he told him he was going to give him.
He gave him no smoke.
Man, he gave him smoke, man. Larry Bird was cold, man. I don't care what nobody say about all this comparing and power forward. Nobody can stop Larry Bird. I don't care what nobody say. He was one of the coldest forwards I ever seen play the game, and he used to tell you where he gonna do it. And I had the fortune to play against him for 2 years. He was ailing during this time, but even the things I've seen when he was ailing with his back was unreal.
Told you,
Larry
KD.
Bird.
Hey, G, I told him the exact same thing. I said, LB was the biggest trash talker of all time.
And he backed it up, too.
Hey, what? He'll give you 30 when he wanted to. I'm just trying to tell y'all, man. He would tell you he going to give you 30. I'm just trying to tell y'all, man. And he would tell you if his jump shot hit the rim, it wouldn't even count to him. He going to come right back and shoot it again on you. I was like, man, that's cold. I was like, dude, you cold. You know what I'm saying? So that was some stuff that, man, you remember, that's why him and Magic had so much of a rivalry, because he knew Magic was going to give him a challenge the same way.
Gary Payton, Sr., the Hall of Famer. Quickly, GP2, how's he doing? He good?
He going to be okay, man. You know, he tore his calf muscle. It is what it is, man. You know, injuries come with this, man. I just think that he's got to get in the lab, get himself back healthy, get back in about a month or two. You know what I'm saying? I think it shouldn't take him no longer than 4 to 6 weeks. That's on him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's my son. I think he got that toughness in him. I think he wants to be out there. It's hurting him right now that he's getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I hate to see my son always getting hurt, but that's just the way he plays. You know, he plays that way. He plays gritty and grinding. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. But I think this is something that he'll overcome. I mean, he got about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He'll be back. I mean, he'll be back, and I think Golden State needs to just hold the fort until he gets back, until you can get that grit, that grind out of him to come back. And then when he gets back, I hope he gets back real quickly and get in the flow of the game. They'll Golden State try to make a push for the playoffs.
Cool,
I tell you what, when he went out, that's when that Kings game changed.
Changed the game, bro.
Yeah, he was causing havoc against the Kings. Gary Payton, Hall of Famer, man. Appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Always a pleasure, man. Anytime y'all need me, man, you know, HC know what's going on. That's family, man. That's like big bro. Y'all just call me, man. We can come and chat it up again.
Cool, right, dog. We're banging in line, man. Tell nephew I say hurry up.
I will. I tell him, man. I'll see him tonight, man. I'm going to the game. So I'll go and see him and check him out tonight.
Yep.
He'll be on the sideline. I'll talk to him afterwards.
Yep.
All right, Gary Payton, thanks so much. NBA 75th anniversary team, the glove. This guy was one of the original two-way players in the NBA. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little NFL. That's right, Niners fans. I've been waiting to go at you guys.